up, bringing you the vibe, the pride, the power. This is Charge. Hey, yo, Buffalo, you're gonna love this one, Sadna. Nah, I lived in a lab making this joint. Hours turned to days until it was perfect. Bill's Mafia in the house. It's the Queen City anthem, built on grit and grind. Buffalo style, yeah, one of a kind. Snow falling heavy, but the fire burns bright under them stadium lights. The Mafia ignites, we hold it down, loyal through the pain. Every snap, every hit, it's the charge we sustain. From the fans to the field, it's more than a game. It's a family, a legacy, remember the name.
Charge up the field, let the crowd take flight. Buffalo's heart, shining so bright. Feel the energy under stadium lights. Bill's Mafia strong, it's the charge tonight.
Yeah, we hold it down. In the 716. Let's go. From the tailgates lit to the thunderous sound, you can feel the passion when the Bills come around. It's a blue-collar love, built tough and true. From the heart of the city to the red, white, and blue, we bring that heat, even in the cold. With every drive, another story unfolds. It's Buffalo pride, yeah, the Mafia way. Under them lights, we making plays. You feel that? That's Buffalo pride. Every fan, every play, this city rides. We built this together. We'll never fall. Bill's Mafia forever. We answer the call. Through the highs and lows, we stay in the fight. Buffalo strong, yeah, the future is bright. Charge up the field, let the crowd take flight. Buffalo's heart, shining so bright. Feel the energy under stadium lights. Bill's Mafia strong, it's the charge tonight. Yeah, we hold it down. In the 716. Let's go. Let's go. From the tailgates lit to the thunderous sound, you can feel the passion when the Bills come around. It's a blue-collar love built tough and true. From the heart of the city to the red, white, and blue, we bring that heat, even in the cold. With every drive, another story unfolds. It's Buffalo pride, yeah, the Mafia way. Under them lights, we making plays. You feel that? That's Buffalo pride. Every fan, every play, this city rides. We built this together. We'll never fall. Bill's Mafia forever. We answer the call. Through the highs and lows, we stay in the fight. Buffalo strong, yeah, the future is bright. Charge up the field, let the crowd take flight. Buffalo's heart, shining so bright. Feel the energy under stadium lights. Bill's Mafia strong, it's the charge tonight. Hot on the mic, bringing it straight from Western New York to the world. This is Charge with Thomas and Sterling. Bill's Mafia, stand tall and proud. We got this.
Yo, what is up? It's Thursday night. It's your boy Sterls, got my dog TD, and this is the Charge Podcast right here on the Buffalo Media Network. We're back in the seats, back in the saddle, ready to talk some Bills, ready to talk some free agency. How you doing, TD? What's up?
We're doing good, man. I'm excited, man. Brandon Beane he's been working, and I love to see it. And I'll tell you, the one thing I love about football more than any other sport is that the NFL does an incredible job of keeping us going nonstop. The NFL does not quit. There is no rest for the wicked. It is nonstop. I love it. I'm here for it. Let's get going.
Dude, the NFL never sleeps, man. Like, I haven't been getting much sleep this week, like just because I've been excited. I've been waiting for hashtag Bean After Dark, and we haven't gotten Bean After Dark signing.
Yeah,
Really?
we got Joey Bosa.
What
Joey
was it?
Bosa was at like 9:30 at night.
Okay,
Maybe for you it
pause.
was like, what, like 7?
See, yeah, it wasn't after dark,
It's not
right?
my fault you live in the mountains.
I know, with the
Some of
Fraggle
us live in
Rocks.
real places.
Hot dog. It's majestic here. Come get some. But no, man, it's been really good. Like if you on Tuesday, I think we were just, or Monday, we were just like, okay, like let's get it going. We need some signings. And
Oh, yeah.
it's probably not what everybody wants, right? But it is what the
Not all of
Bills
them.
need, right?
Yep.
I've been a big fan. Only thing I wasn't a fan of was the DeMar Hamlin signing, but I
Yeah.
totally understand it. The money was fine, but we're going to get into all the free agent acquisitions on the show tonight. Real quick though, TD, we had a giveaway, right?
That's right.
Because we reposted it right here on the Charge podcast, Buffalo Media Network, where we're giving out jerseys, we're giving out merch. So, and I want to announce our winner, even though he knows. Okay, but his name is TB on Twitter, and his handle is Bron6_Trey. So Bron6_Trey is the winner for the giveaway. And for those of you who didn't know about the giveaway, what we did was said guess the next free agent signing, and that next free agent signing was Joey Bosa, which TB got it correct. So congratulations. He is going to take a picture when he gets a jersey, take a picture of it, and he's going to support it. And so that's the thing. So if you win our contest in the future, all thing we ask is just you like, follow, subscribe to us, the YouTube channel, first of all. And then all you got to do is just when you get your merch, just take a picture of it and just give us a little shout out. That's it. That's all we need. We're just trying to grow the subscribers on YouTube. It helps us out a lot. It helps the algorithm as well. So if you guys are listening and watching, we've been growing every single month. We've only been doing this for probably 6 weeks now. So things have been going great. So with that being said, TD, anything you want to add to that before we continue?
No, I kind of piggybacking off Sterl's, we appreciate all of it. We appreciate all the support. It's a slow and steady grind. It's not always pretty. It's not always easy. And sometimes it's a little bit more difficult, but we're here. We're giving the best content we absolutely can for you guys. And we appreciate everybody along for the ride. We're excited if you are watching, and we're excited if you give us feedback, comment. Wow, I can't talk. Comment in the chat, and we will go back and forth. We're trying to be more interactive, but we're looking forward to it and excited for the future.
Yeah, man. So let's do this. So let's first of all, the Bills signed Laviska Shenault just an hour ago. Wide receiver out of the University of Colorado. Man, I was wanting that dude like 7 years ago, but it finally happened. Now, I mean, he's a much different player than I think when he came out from Colorado. We never saw him really develop as a wide receiver as we all hoped, but he has turned into a good return man. So he was 6th in the league or 8th in the league in yards last season, was one of 7 players who returned the kickoff for touchdown. So the Bills will have him compete with Brandon Codrington, which will be nice, right? I don't foresee a role for Laviska Shenault on the offense. I don't even see him in a role like they did with Isaiah McKenzie, but look to pencil him in as a competitor for punt and kickoff return. And with the new kickoff rules, I think it kind of changes teams' philosophies and how they want to roster players in terms of return men. So you're looking for more running back type of returners, just because of the way the alignments are when the kickoff. So we love to see Laviska Shenault be a Buffalo Bill. The Bills also signed Derek Forrest, safety. He was from the Commanders, rangy safety. He could play, the deep half. He can also play in the box. I think the Bills will probably use him most in the box, but he does have ball skills. This is just a depth signing. They also signed Larry Ogunjobi. This is a 3-tech penetrating style defensive tackle, formerly of the Cleveland Browns and the Steelers, 6'3", 305. So he's kind of smaller. So he looked for him to be more of a Ed Oliver replacement, not replacement, but to spell Ed Oliver in different pass situations. You can get kind of freaky with some of those alignments on third down. And then obviously the big fish, right? Joey Bosa. Now, TD, I got to take a little bit. I got to tip my hat to myself a little bit because
you should.
I think it was probably a month ago when the Chargers kind of brought up that he might be a cut candidate. They cut him, and I been wanting to say like, hey, Joey Bosa might be your guy just because Trey Henderson, they kind of priced him. The Bengals priced him out. We saw what happened with Myles Garrett, and Joey Bosa is a part of the team. We kind of talked about this. Oh, actually, TD, we didn't talk about Joey Bosa because we didn't do a show. So, TD, let's talk about Joey Bosa real quick. Go ahead.
So I'll tell you, initially before he'd signed, I was nervous, and rightfully so. He's played 28 games and 28 out of a possible 51. So he's had injury histories. Yep. And I think because of that, there is, of course, some concern, right? He played 14 games this past season. And he even said today in his press conference that at the beginning, he felt the best that he's felt in 9 years. Yeah. He has felt the healthiest, felt the most confident. And really, when he started the season, he was good. And then he had a glute issue, and he was kind of playing at 60, 70, 75% for the rest of the season. And towards the tail end, he really started getting back to himself, and he could feel like he was really, making an impact. So I'll tell you, I listened to him today, and I tweeted this out that I really enjoyed his tenor. Like, I really liked how he, for all the bravado that comes with these big name guys, he seems like he fits. Like he just seems like a good dude, and I appreciate that because coming into Buffalo, there's a lot of misnomers about the city of Buffalo and what it is or what it isn't. And there's a lot of guys that come in here and it's like, what are they going to say? What's the reaction? How are they going to pose themselves? And he came out really honest and very genuine about the fact that he's had injury issues. He hasn't been happy about it. He needs to prove it to his teammates that he can be available at all times. And I think that's important because as an impact player, as a guy, as a name, the Bosa brothers are big names, right? They're big name defensive ends. He was a top pick. So he was very, very important. You have to look at it and be like, well, there's some gravitas that comes with him, right? So he could come in and just act a certain way and be like, oh, my shit doesn't stink, it's fine. But to come in and take a dose of humble pie, it shows you who he is, right? And like he mentioned that he liked McDermott. That was the draw to come in here. He appreciated Brandon Beane. So if you can get him in here and they switch their strength and conditioning coach, Eric Schiano, is no longer here. They have a brand new guy. So if we can change things up and we can get him healthy and maybe get the best version of Joey Bosa, opposite of Greg Rousseau, who obviously got that monster deal, I'm very confident because I think the Bills are doing good things. Like they're not, Joey Bosa is kind of a sexy move, kind of. He's kind of been injured, but like they're doing things to prep for the draft, and we'll talk obviously more of that tonight, but they're doing more things to prep for the draft where they're getting impact players that they know will be able to contribute in different ways, whether it's Michael Hoyt, whether it's Larry Ogunjobi, whether it's Joey Bosa, whomever it is, right? All these guys play a part. So for Joey Bosa, I'm excited because one, the dude's a baller. When he's on, there are very few guys that are as impactful as Joey Bosa. He's got speed, he's got bull rush, he's got technique, he's got multiple different, swim moves or different tools in his tool chest, in his arsenal to be able to beat tackles. So like, you're not just like, if you get Joey Bosa healthy, you're not just getting a run-of-the-mill defensive end, right? Right. You're getting a dude that is a game-wrecking, game-changing, like a Myles Garrett, right? He's not Myles, but like he was trajecting like Myles. His first 6 years, he had 58 sacks. Like the dude was pacing to be unbelievable. Unfortunately, that kind of came to a halt with his injury history. So I'm super excited. Long-winded answer for you right there, Sturls. But no, initially on the forefront, I was nervous, but after letting it kind of seep in and kind of just sleeping on it, I'm excited about the prospect of what he can deliver on a very on a regimented basis, because I don't think he's going to be 65-70% of the snaps. But if he's 20 to 30% of the snaps, I'm very confident that he can be an impact player and help this defense against good teams in the playoffs.
Yeah, and I think that's what you should want. You should want his. I'm really not that concerned with what he does in the regular season. I think it's when it comes to crunch time in the playoffs, and when you go against the likes of Lamar Jackson, Patrick Mahomes, Joe Burrow, if they make it this year, you need him to be the closer. It's everything that Brandon Beam wanted Von Miller to be, and you got a guy now who's an A-list. Right, he's one of the top pass rushers in the league when he's healthy. Now, availability is your best ability, and we would like to see him, produce more and be available more. But I think it goes to the fact that, like you mentioned, he's probably only going to play 40-50% of the snaps. Certainly. That's and that could be probably his ceiling there. But what can you get out of him? Now, I will say this: I think you're playing in a better scheme. Because I think the 4-3 is going to benefit him more than him being an outside linebacker, right? So you see these guys are standing up, playing in space a little more. Now he just gets to go upfield, go get the passer, and take him down. I mean, that's his responsibility. We also know that he is a really good edge defender. So what you have now is you have Russo and Joey Bosa, two really good edge defenders. What that's going to do is, if the Bills can get a good one tech, maybe in the draft or something like that, I think it's going to really free these guys up to where now it's predicated on, can you win your one-on-one matchup? And I think that's what the Bills' philosophy on defense is, to where you only rushing 4, right? So and then let the back 7 cover. So I like the move. I really do like the move. I think we've kind of shifted the paradigm here, TD, whereas we all wanted the big fish. I don't think that's going to happen, right? But now it's Bosa and Pick. So you got Bosa, right? You got a pass rusher. Maybe not the pass rusher everybody wanted, but I think it's a pass rusher that the Bills need. And now you get to go to the draft salivating. You got 1 first, 2 seconds. I mean, we got 10 picks total, right? I mean, it's got
2 fourths, 3 fifths.
Yeah.
A lot of
come on, man. Like, that's what I'm talking about right there. So we don't mortgage our future, right? We got capital this year, capital next year. Hell, if you want to trade James Cook during the draft, by all means you can. You just do it now. I mean, shit, you might as well. So yeah, man, I'm excited about the Bosa signing. We can go on and on about him, but I think Bills fans, you will feel his impact this year. Pending he stays healthy. So also, Ty Johnson re-signed with the Bills. Michael Hoyt, as you guys know, we talked about him on Monday night. He agreed to a 3-year deal. Joshua Palmer, and so it's been a good week, man.
Yeah, no, they've done some nice moves. Obviously, Laviska Shenault, I was going to mention this to you. My guess is the reason he's here is that Chris Tabor, who is the new special teams coach, he was with Chris Tabor in 2022, 2023 in Carolina. So I'm assuming there's some correlation there as to why he was brought in. And Laviska Shenault was 10th in the league with Seattle this past year. So he had an impact. He did a nice job with Seattle. He also had a 97-yard touchdown return for them on a kick return. So I think there is impact. But no, I like I said, I like what they've done. It's not, I know a lot of people initially, we talked about this, how they wanted that really super splashy move. They wanted somebody to go right out of the gate. And, there was a lot of frustration that there wasn't a big ticket item initially, which I understand. I understand the sentiment. Like, everybody wants that buzz that happens, that, that like your name is in the lights, the Buffalo Bills being a team that went after a big time player. But I think they did a nice job of finding pieces that are going to have impact on game day. Right. And that's important, because you don't want to just sign people just to sign people. You want to find people that are going to impact the game in a way that's going to potentially get you over the hump against teams like the Chiefs, like the Bengals, the Ravens, whomever, whatever it is, and Josh Palmer presents that. He, has a very, very high end separation skill. He can play both the Y, the X, the Z, he can play the slot. I mean, he can play all over the place, which I think that versatility is great. He's not super fast. He's a 4.51, but he's got enough speed and burst to be able to break away if necessary. But he's a good route runner. He's a technician. He's got great hands. He's known for his toe drag swag. So that's big. Michael Hoyt, like we mentioned, I think is a terrific signing because he's just a versatile chess piece. and sometimes having those guys like the Chiefs, they use Drew Tranquil like that, where they just kind of move him all over the place and they use him as a tool to kind of disguise different looks or play him against different teams. And one thing I thought about is Searles, what's one of the toughest things that we've struggled against? What position on defense have we struggled against in terms of mismatches for our team?
I would say probably defending tight ends. Right.
Bingo. So that's my exact thought is you play a team like the Baltimore Ravens who have Isaiah Likely and Mark Andrews.
Yeah.
You have a guy like Michael Hoyt who's 6'4", 285 pounds, I believe it is.
267.
Right. He's a big ass dude. Right. So you have him and you saw there's a video of him covering DK Metcalf, and DK Metcalf is like damn near the same size as half the line or half the tight ends in the NFL. You have him covering with his speed, his coverage skills, his understanding of playing multiple positions, whether it's safety, linebacker, corner, defensive end, defensive tackle, whatever. I mean, he's legitimately he's one of those guys that's just a jack of all trades. That's a huge impact player because now you can play it. You could stay in dime. You can go to nickel. You can go to a base defense, like whatever you feel like, because you got a guy who, let's say you line him up and he looks like he's playing defensive end, or you're playing 5 on the line. Now he drops back and you got 3 linebackers, or maybe he drops back and he's playing as a nickel corner. Like the endless possibilities of how you can use Michael Hoyt is super, super exciting. Joey Bosa, we obviously mentioned, just his prowess, his ability. Larry Ogunjobi, I think, is a guy that, there's been a little bit of discrediting as to what he is because he played in Pittsburgh, which is more of a 3-4 defense.
Right. Even
though they do play 4-3, it'll be intriguing to see how he goes back to now a 4-3 defense. And he's not going to be the starter, right? It's probably going to be either whoever they take in the draft, whether it's like, Derek Harmon or our guy Kenneth Brandt or Dwayne Carter, who probably has an inside lane to get to that, starting job opposite of Ed. So, but whatever, you got another rotational piece that isn't Jordan Phillips or Austin Johnson or whomever that they keep bringing in every single year. So that's exciting. And I'll tell you, the one that I'm most excited about is Ty Johnson. I absolutely love Ty Johnson. I think Ty Johnson, not only is he like, first off, I think the dude is like the nicest smile on the team. I don't know why. I just think the dude's got like kick ass smile, real nice teeth, bro. Yeah. I'm a teeth guy, and he's got nice ass teeth, so I appreciate that. But the dude is like, when it comes to being a running back, I think, and not only just a running back, but an offensive chess piece, being available for Josh Allen is so important. Like, there are so many guys that we've had on the team that just did not know what the hell to do. Like, you go out there, they don't know where to find the soft spot in the zone. They don't understand to be available for Josh. They don't know when he's on a scramble drill and playing out of structure to make sure to look back and see where he's at and see if maybe, just maybe, they can find themselves a little lane so Josh can throw them. Not Ty. Ty always has his head on a swivel. He is so smart, knowing exactly where to be. He's got buttery soft hands, which for a running back is an astounding feat. Yeah. Like, he has better hands than a lot of wide receivers in this game. So the fact that he's got incredible speed for a guy his size. He's got I feel like he is a combination of Zach Moss and James Cook meshed together, but he's got incredible hands, good feet, good contact balance, and just a good understanding of the game. And having him back on a 2-year, $5 million deal is just it's a great price, a great value for a guy that in many games, including that, the Denver Broncos game, had unbelievable impact plays that changed the outcome of the overall play or of the overall game. So super excited about having him back. I think that's been big, but again, like I said, and I'm being very long-winded tonight, but
no, you're good. You're good.
I really love what Brandon Beane has done because first off, I'm a Brandon Beane defender. I love Brandon. I love what he's done for this franchise, but he's been under a bunch of heat once free agency started. People were, flapping their gums about him and what he does or what he doesn't do. And I've been very excited about how he's approached this because, he's done it in such a way that this team is going to continue to be successful. He's 1-year deals that gives them the option. Like, you signed Joey Bosa, he has a good year. You don't think he's going to want to come back? You don't think he's going to want to sign back with Buffalo with Josh Allen? Like, there's a good chance if he has a good year and he revitalizes his career, you could talk to me like, Joey, come back for a couple more years. sign a 2-3 year deal. Let's roll. So like he's done a good job of setting precedents, but also paying his own guys. Like it's been a masterclass of doing things the right way and finding implicit value.
Yeah, and when you look at it, the Bills, they were just a few plays away from representing the AFC in the Super Bowl, and I think
Yep.
players see that, right? They see that, like, if you come here, you're gonna be in a position. There's not a game that you can't win, right? And I think that matters, especially for some of these free agent veterans that the Bills have acquired. Joey Bosa being one of them.
Right.
With that being said, though, TD, I think that begs the question: what's next for the Bills? I mean, we see their biggest need right now is cornerback, and
Certainly
we didn't even talk about the Kyer Elam trade where the Bills kind of, punted him out and got a 5th round pick, which was staggering. It was surprising. I mean, a 5th round pick to the Cowboys. Maybe he could be a better fit for them, but it's probably best that Kyer, after that Chiefs game and just some of the turmoil that he's been dealing with and stuff like that over his first few seasons, it's probably the best move for him. So Kyer Elam's out the door, TD, and cornerback is a freaking huge need on this team.
Certainly.
Kudos to Brandon Beane, though. I will say, because I think in the past, I think they have been reluctant to move on from players such as Kyer Elam who don't perform. Now, we did see a move with Boogie Basham and so forth, but I mean, that's hard. That's a 1st round pick, right? That you're admitting, hey, we failed you, or you failed, or it just didn't work out, and now it's time to move on. So, cornerback, like, what are we doing? Like, you gotta get
some names out there. There's some names out there. I think it's, man, it's tough because obviously we still haven't paid Christian Benford, which I think is a conversation to be had. Yeah. But like there's Asante Samuel Jr., and I think a lot of us really like the idea of that. There is some questions apparently in terms of his injury because of his shoulder and his ability to tackle and taking stingers a lot. So that's question. And I'm sure Brandon Beane is very like, they're not going to throw money, right? They could wait it out and whatever, or maybe they go to a guy like Stephon Gilmore. If he would come back to Buffalo, like I think he'd be a good 1-year option. And, maybe they bring in they draft a corner, whether it's Trey Amos or Azare Thomas, whatever it is. Like there's some options and kind of pair them together with Christian Benford. I'm concerned, but I'm not. Yeah. And so here's my reason, right? If you were to describe McDermott in one way, in what position that he has been most successful of getting the most out of the least, what would it be?
It's I would say it's safety
or corner, right? Like he's been able to bring in run-of-the-mill guys, whether it's Levi Wallace or Dane Jackson or EJ Daniels or whomever, right? Like bunch of guys. Every other year there's a different variety, right? Run-of-the-mill variety of a guy. They plug and play and their system works. And there's not a massive drop off, right? Like every single one minus Kyer, right? Like most of them, they're fine. Like the system just flows.
Yeah.
So I think my thing is like, do I want a guy? Certainly. But I think the Bills have enough ability and coaching ability, especially because now they brought in a new defensive backs coach from New England. I like what they've done where they're able to take guys and plug them into their system and have a seamless transaction. So my comfort, and my ability to say like, yeah, I trust that they've got a plan in place, whatever that might be. I'm good. Yes, they need to get somebody, obviously, but like, I think we're okay. Like you've got Jamarcus Ingram, who can play in a pinch, and maybe he gets more run this year with Kyer now being gone. I think Jamarcus showed what he could do in Miami. Maybe he gets a bigger role and maybe evolves a little bit, or at very minimum, maybe he's the 3rd guy off the bench or the 4th guy off the bench. If you bring in a veteran, right, and then you go get somebody in the draft, whatever it is, I'm comfortable enough that I think the Bills are going to be fine in plugging that position because they've done it before. And like I said, it's been seamless the entire time.
Man, so I like it. I'm going to tell you something, though.
Certainly.
I'm going to tell you this. I think that your focus has to be cornerback going into the draft. I like Asante Samuel, but I don't think you need to spend the money. I mean, I don't know what he's asking for, okay? But this week, I just finished watching the tape of a guy that I
Okay.
think has so much potential. So
Sure.
much potential. Now, okay, Siobhan Revel Jr.
Oh, I've heard a lot about him. Yeah.
Bro, East Carolina senior, tore his ACL after 3 games this season. Now he's more of a stash and cash kind of guy because I mean, I don't for him to be ready to go by training camp, I don't think he would be ready to go.
Okay.
But you know, before the injury, I would say he was definitely a first round lock.
Oh,
Okay,
big boy.
he's a big
6'2",
boy,
6'2", 194.
6'3".
That's like a safety right there.
Bro, it's very Legion of Boomish. I mean,
Yeah.
he's got really good athleticism. Now the ball skills need to be worked on. Like he doesn't have the best ball skills, but I don't need him to have the best
Yeah,
ball
you
skills.
don't need to. If
can
you got
teach
good
that.
technique on everything else, you could flip your hips fine.
Always in
I'm okay.
phase, flips his hips well, instinctive. Like the interceptions will come. If you're in place, you can make a play on the ball. And that 6'3",
Absolutely.
rangy, long arms, I mean, big hands. I was like, damn, like this dude can ball. Like,
Yeah.
so with 2 second-round picks, I mean, hell, he might not even go in the second round just because of that injury. A
Right.
third round, I mean, the Bills have 10 picks. You can flip some picks and so forth. But I think he is an ideal fit. The Bills, we're starting to see the Bills kind of like those bigger corners, rangy, has really good man coverage ability, but also can play in zone. So that's
Right.
that's a name to keep your eye on, Bills fans. If you are a draft nerd like myself, Siobhan Revel, Eastern Carolina, I think he's a guy to take a look at. Obviously, you know, and I'm going to go through these real quick. And TD, if you want to add anything to that, you by all means do. We know Trey Amos is a guy that I like could be in consideration for the Bills at number 30. Jahdae Brown and Will Johnson, obviously, those guys aren't going to be there at pick 30, you know, and if they are, I mean, shit, you better run up to the podium. And then Darian Porter. I think Darian Porter is my second favorite cornerback for the Bills in terms of where they're going to be able to draft. Maxwell Harrison has great speed. So those are just some quick names kind of in the early rounds. I think the Bills are going to be kind of looking. Remember when the Bills picked Kyer Elam? They went into the draft and everybody knew like CB2 was like that Levi Wallace wasn't enough, right? We knew that we needed a CB2. The Bills drafted Kyer Elam, didn't work out. So I think that's kind of the same thing is happening here. They might double down because you need to. I mean, you can get a veteran off the streets even before training camp. So there is no need to fill every hole right now. So those are some cornerbacks that I really find intriguing so far for next month in the NFL draft.
Yeah, there's a lot of really good names out there. I need to start digging in, and I've been spending more time on defensive tackle than corner, to be honest with you, just in terms of that. But there are some good free agents. I mean, James Bradbury is still available.
Former Carolina Panther.
Right, absolutely. Like I said, Stephon Gilmore. I don't know if he'd come back to Buffalo, but on a 1-year deal, just have him come in and play for a Super Bowl. I think that's definitely an option right there. Adoree Jackson was a guy I liked, but he went and signed today, so that's unfortunate.
Okay.
But then the list, like Akello Witherspoon is available. Not a ton of great names once you get down the list. Nick McLeod, I do wonder. Nick McLeod is a Bills guy. He was drafted by the Bills, or UDFA, excuse me. He was signed by them. I do wonder if they're able to get Rasul Douglas at a really reasonable rate, if they would bring him back.
Why would you want that?
Just as a guy, you know, like he was able to play all season, right? He didn't get injured. He knows the system. You know, it's kind of like DeMar Hamlin. I didn't really want DeMar Hamlin back, but at $2 million, having a guy off the bench that knows the system, like he's probably not going to start. I doubt he beats out Cole Bishop and Taylor Rapp. So having a guy like him off the bench is great. If you have a guy like Rasul Douglas, sign him for $3 or $4 million. I doubt. I mean, maybe you could get him from that. I mean, as the time goes on, these contracts start plummeting in price.
Right.
If Brandon Beane holds out and he's like, I'll wait. I don't care. There's enough names. I'll sign somebody, right? Like, who gives a shit? And I think if he waits long enough that he feels comfortable that he's got maybe 5 names on this board, right, on these free agencies of veterans, and says, we'll wait till just before the draft, maybe just after the draft, whatever. And if we don't get what we like, then Rasul, this is what we got on the table. You know, 2 years, $6 million, or 1 year, $3 million. You want to come play back with a team. You like the locker room. You like the team. You got a contract here. Easy peasy, right? So I think there's options like that where, I'm sure Brandon Bean has a couple offers around the NFL for guys saying like, hey, if you're interested, same thing with, I wouldn't doubt he has a contract out there for Asante Samuel Jr. But I think based on injury, based on the fact that I think he needs to show a little bit more, like the fact that he's still out there should tell you, right? Like there's a lot of teams that need corners that he's 25 years old. There's a reason. Like there's some underlying concern with Asante Samuel Jr. He's got lineage from his father. Hopefully not driving a car lineage, but he's got incredible lineage in terms of his father, who was a very, very good corner in the NFL, whether it's the Patriots or the Eagles and whatnot. So like there's stuff there, but there's obviously concern. So I think he's got contracts out there. He's got little floaters. He had the same thing with DeMar. DeMar said it that today. He said he had a bunch of interest from other teams. He had a contract from the Bills. He came back because he thought that was the best opportunity for him. So I love what's out there. I'm very confident in what they've done, and we'll see. Maybe there's more potential in terms of what they could reach out. But I'm excited for the draft.
Yeah, man, the draft is going to be fun. You know what? I was thinking today, and I'm like, damn, like 10 picks. You don't have a ton of needs. And how many of these draft picks are actually going to make the roster? I'm thinking, man, if you can trade up into the teens and get a guy you really want, that would be something that I would be very interested in. Very interested in. I mean, you could come out and you can get some guys, man. I mean, listen, hell, you probably in the teens is where I probably think Will Johnson. If we're talking corner, Will Johnson will be there, right? I think he's anywhere from that 10 to 17 range. I think he'll be available. Hell, you can secure Luther Burden at wide receiver if you want. I think now, if you're not going to be able to get your big fish acquisition in terms of making a trade with an existing player, tell me how you feel about the Bills trading up far to go get a guy they want.
So here's the tough part is to get where they are at 30, which is 620 points. Whereabouts are you looking to get up to? Like what's your
I say something feasible would be you're looking at anywhere from 14 to 19.
Okay. So we'll start with 14. To get to 14 would be 440 points, which means the Bills would have to give up their second round pick, which is 284 points. They'd have to give up both of their fourth round picks, which is 70. That would be 3, close to 4. Probably have to give up their second, 2 fourths, and a fifth to get that high.
Done.
You'd give up three-quarters. You'd give up 3/4 of the draft.
Yes.
To move up.
Yes. You wouldn't?
I don't know, man. I think that those sweet spots, the second round, the 2 second rounders, there's so much value in that second round. So much value.
There is.
Here's the thing, like, as much as I might like, so here's what comes to like value proposition, right? Like if you're gonna take and like look at who's available in that first round and then maybe go into the second round and kind of say like, okay, well, if I'm at 30 and I like the guy, let's say it's Will Johnson, right? Like you're talking let's say it's Will Johnson, right? I love Will Johnson, but is Will Johnson's impact so much greater than, let's say 30, you're able to get James Pierce at in the second round, you're able to at pick, where's the second Bills pick? It is, where are we at now? There it is. Okay. 56. At 56, let's say you're able to get Derek Harmon, right? So you got James Pierce, Derek Harmon, and then later at 62, maybe they're able to get a corner like Azare Thomas or get a safety like Xavier Watts or Nicky Manwari. Are those 3 enough value or more value? Because I think those 3 together have significantly more value than Will Johnson does.
If we're talking value,
Yeah.
Now let's not get it twisted. Will
Mhm.
Johnson, the only reason why he's even not in the top 5, the
He's a
top
stud.
3, is because of injury.
Sure.
Before the injury, coming into the season, I've been watching Will Johnson for 3 years. Like
Is
when you talk about corner, to me, he is the best pure corner in this draft. He
Yeah.
can do it all. So to me, you're getting a blue chip player in Will Johnson. Now, if we're talking a different position, I would have a whole different other conversation with you, and I would agree. But in
Certainly.
terms of, and I'm not just saying that because I'm a Michigan guy, but I've watched the film. I've watched this dude for so long.
Right.
He's a blue chip prospect, and so with Will Johnson, I do think there's one thing you have to consider. We're not certain. We don't know if, like, we talk about Christian Benford signing an extension like it's a foregone conclusion, like he's just gonna do it. We don't
Yeah,
know
it's a
that.
concern.
We don't know that, right? So I do think that there's something to be said about, okay, we can go get Will. If we can get Will Johnson at 14, 15, right?
Yep.
We may have to give up some stuff. We're
Yeah.
not going to give up anything for next year, but if we have to give up some stuff now to have a blue chip player, because what do we talk about? You and I, we've had many discussions about this. The Bills don't have enough blue chip talent, right? Well, now
Certainly.
you're having you're banking on potential in a sense, but the guy was injured and he didn't test at the combine or anything like that. So you know how the NFL is. They're kind of, what have you done for me lately? But go turn
Right.
on the film. Will Johnson's a straight baller, bro. I would really be, if I'm Brandon Bean, and I'm not, we're just guys, but that's something I'd be really examining and looking at and trying to go get. I need a blue chipper. I don't care where you get him, but I need one of those guys. Will Johnson is one of those dudes.
Yeah, I mean, I don't disagree, and I think you put him opposite of Christian Benford, you're incredibly set, right? Like you've got two blue chip corners right there. But here's the thing, like I said, you don't think Brandon Bean could find a corner somewhere else? Look at what he did with Christian Benford. He found Christian Benford in the 6th round. Right.
Okay, but you making that sound like I just picked the Snickers off the damn counter. Like it ain't that easy,
No, it's not. It's definitely not that easy, certainly. But at that same time, yeah, I just think it's one of those, like, I think there's enough guys. Like, first off, I love James Pierce. Okay. And honestly, I think James Pierce has the ability to be like one of the best defensive players in this entire draft. If you can unlock this dude, like, I think he's a freak of nature. And like somebody said to me, he's like, oh, he's got an attitude. It's like,
who cares? I need that.
I kind of want nasty, bro.
We need
I've
it,
seen nasty. Like James Harrison was a he was a bad man, right? But guess what? Dude was not a gentle giant. He was not a nice dude, but he was mean and he was tough and he was physical and he was a darn good football player. Same thing with Terrell Suggs. Same thing with Ray Lewis, right? Like, I don't need to have choir boys throughout the entire roster. What I do want is really, really, really talented players.
Yeah. Okay. So let's look at this. So basically, we're kind of framing our own discussion here because we're talking about guys we trade up for, and I do think that James Pierce, I didn't give him a blue chip grade, but I have him right under that. His frame and size is questionable to me. When you're talking about, like, I need an every down, 3 down player on the edge, I think he can develop into that, maybe if you put some more meat on his bones. However, when you turn on the tape for this guy, the athleticism, it pops off the screen. Like he's different from everybody else on the field. Like, I don't know did you feel that way when you watch him? Because he's got 2 really good years of production. And I think one of the underrated things about his game is his ability to set the edge. People don't talk about that enough. Like, he is on your ass in a hurry. Like, this guy, he's a straight baller, man. And doing that in the SEC, I think that means a little more.
Right. And that's the thing is, like, okay, so here's my prop, right?
Okay.
What do the Eagles do?
They have fast rushers, Nolan Smith off the edge,
not even that. What does Howie Roseman do? What is his thing?
He drafts guys.
He just takes
best player available.
He doesn't give a shit about the baggage. He doesn't care about their bag story. He doesn't he says, You idiots want to let talent fall to me? Fine, I'll take him. Jordan Davis. You think he's a mess? You don't think he's a nice guy? Give us a shit. I'm gonna take this big old son of a bitch. This guy that's 6'5", 350 pounds.
Yeah.
You don't want him? I'll take him.
him.
I'll take him all day long, 6 times on Sunday.
Yeah.
So that's my thing is I'm done with the choir boy. Like we've got enough. You've got a good leadership group here. Terrell Bernard, Josh Allen. Bring in some hells on wheels. Add them into the locker room. We've got good people that can support that.
Yeah, I mean, Harry Roseman is, dude. He struck gold, man. I mean, the Georgia Bulldog Eagles are they're a fucking handful on defense.
Right.
I get what you're saying. Memphis Showboats fan says, what would happen if the Bills got a not terrible secondary? If they had I mean, I'm sure I'm just kind of picking here how you're framing that, but if the Bills had a good secondary, which traditionally they've had under Sean McDermott. I think when you add 2 stalwart pass rushers, I think that's going to help the entire defense, right? It's going to help the entire defense. So I do think this, though, if we're talking about corner real quick, we can keep going. You might kind of shift that the Bills may need a little bit more speed, like Christian Benford's a good athlete, but you might want to press into somebody with some foot speed, some recovery speed too, because if you can rely on your pass rush and you're only rushing 4 and you got guys that are twitchy and have speed, Quinyon Mitchell's a guy that we're talking about the Eagles. Quinyon Mitchell is a guy, Cooper DeJean, right? They said he'd be a safety, but now he's playing nickel, and that guy has all the athleticism. I mean, that kind of stuff matters. Cooper DeJean, interception in the Super Bowl, instincts and speed, got him that, right? You got the Bills need more foot speed on defense. So I hope that answers your question. They need to lean a little bit more into that. So I think we've established so far that we would consider the Bills trading up for blue chip guys that we believe are blue chip prospects. We kind of highlighted them. We said Will Johnson and James Pierce. Now on the offensive side of the ball, I think it's a down year for offensive skill positions. Okay,
Agreed.
It's slim pickings, to be honest. You talk about and the Bills aren't going to draft a running back in round 1, but if we're going to talk running backs real quick, let's just get it out the way. I think there's a couple guys that you should consider. Okay, that have. I think Ashton Genty's your blue chipper. Okay, I think Omarion Hampton is your second best running back in this class, and then I would also say Travion Henderson is your third running back with the most potential in this class. So the Bills aren't going to draft a running back in the first round, but if they kind of figure out, hey, like James Cook is tweeting cryptic stuff or Instagramming cryptic stuff by the minute.
Yeah, that situation's a little dicey right now, I'll tell you.
I mean, you can't pay everybody, and I sure as hell don't want to pay a running back. I love James Cook, but I'm looking at those guys that can do what James Cook does and more. So but at the wide receiver position, there's one guy, dude, that really gets me going that I think can go down as a blue chipper. I think that's Luther Burden III. Luther Burden III is a freaking dog, and he played in Missouri, and Missouri. They didn't have good quarterback play, but you turn on the film, he does everything that you need him to do. He gives you that speed. He gives you that run after the catch ability. I have him comped as Zay Flowers.
Yeah, you told me that. I like that.
How would you feel about having the Zay Flowers in this offense, bro?
I think guys that can create separation, guys that are weapons, right? Like everybody's like, oh, we don't need any more of that. We don't need more weapons. Like, I don't think there's ever enough. Like, to be honest with you,
right?
I think just getting as many possible options for Josh Allen and Joe Brady to succeed is really the method to the madness. Because, I mean, let's be fair. I as much as I love to add on defense, just keep scoring points, man. Bruh. If you can score on every possession, I'm cool with that too. So I think it goes both ways. I think there's needs on both sides of the ball. But if you get to 30 and Luther Burden's there, I'm gonna have a hard time passing up on Luther Burden. I think there's a couple different players that, man, if they fall to 30, I think first off, I do not envy Brandon Bean. I do in this act, the amount of money he makes and the job is really, really cool. And I'd love to work in the NFL. That'd be sick. of course. But like, I don't envy those decisions when it comes time and like the Buffalo Bills are on the clock and you're like, oh shit, like I got to make a decision that doesn't turn into Kyer Elam, right? Like I got to make a decision that is impactful for not only the future of this franchise, but my career, that's going to be handcuffed to my career for and my reputation for the rest of my life. Like that's tough, bro. Like that's some crazy shit that like one pick can destroy your entire reputation for the rest of forever. So I'm excited to see what Brandon Beane can do there, but I do think like Luther Burden, man, having him on this roster, bro, like you have him and Josh Palmer and Khalil Shakir and Curtis Samuel and Keon Coleman. Like that's a dirty group of dudes that can all do so many different things, make defenses, stretch them super thin, work them sideline to sideline, utilizing both speed and power and route running and efficiency and good hands. Like that's a lot of stuff to have to worry about.
Yeah.
Like, and the Bills for a long time have just been very one dimensional. That changes every ounce of who the Bills are.
It does. And I'll give you an underrated option at wide receiver. Now, he's not a blue chipper, but I think when it's all said and done, this guy, he's going to be talked about like a West.
You're going to say Trey Harris?
No, Xavier Restrepo.
Oh, love Restrepo. I'm a Syracuse fan, so I watched a lot of Restrepo in the ACC, and he is, first off, I don't know if he was like stroking out. I don't know what was going on with his face during the combine, but half of his face was like, he looked like the Elephant Man. So I don't know what the hell was going on there.
Yeah, he's got an ailment there.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on. I hope that's not like a hereditary thing, and I just made some. I'm gonna get canceled.
Get us canceled.
I'm gonna get cancer cultured right now. Ladies and gentlemen, that was the last giveaway from Charge Buffalo podcast. No, dude, Restrepo is a dog, bro. He's a dog. He can run. First off, not only, and the Bills met with him, by the way.
They did. Okay, nice.
They did. Yeah, I feel like Donald Trump. Absolutely. He can run vertical routes. He can run like slants. He can run comebacks. Like he can pretty much run anything off the stem. Like his ability is not only super twitchy, really good speed, great hands, but like his footwork is immaculate,
bro.
Like, yeah. And he's like, dude, he's the type of like a route, like, or the type of wide receiver that like scares the shit out of me. Cause like kind of like Cooper Kupp, right? Like I think it was a lot like Cooper Kupp, where like really good at a lot of things, really talented, but he's not scared, which means career is going to go from like this to like this real quick. Cause like in the NFL, you don't take shots like that in college in University of Miami, the University of Miami in the ACC. But dude, in the NFL, there's a lot of big boys. And Restrepo is going to get his clock clean because he does not care about running the dirty routes. He does not look when he, like those typical like Andre Reed routes where you're running across the middle and you're going to get just absolutely popped by the defenders. That's the stuff he's going to do. And that scares the shit out of me because he's so good, but he is so fearless running those routes. So yeah. I love Restrepo. I think
and watching his film, people are going to tell you, hey, well, he doesn't do well against press man. Okay, like you can improve in that. You can get a little stronger there, right? But like you said, I mean, you talk about a nuanced route runner, a guy with really good hands. He's super smart in terms of finding a zone and sitting in it. Yep. I mean, it says a lot when Cam Ward makes you his number one go-to receiver. And we're talking about the University of Miami, where they got freaking dogs everywhere in terms of guys who could just run. They're gazelles, just fast, right? That Miami produces all the time. And I think we got to get away from, yes, he is a slot player, but I think we got to kind of get away from that and kind of take a book from the Bills maybe 3-4 years ago when they were just looking for route winners. You got to get guys that can uncover and get open. Quick. We saw Josh Allen have the quickest trigger that he's had. Now, again, it's like over 2.5 seconds, but you got to get guys in this offense that can just get open. And I think we're seeing a shift of that with Palmer. I think Xavier Restrepo, if available, I think that's a guy, and the Bills met with him. So they obviously they might be looking at this as like, okay, like we know this guy's a straight baller. He's a guy that I would really consider taking in the second round, man. He's that guy to me.
Well, the other part about it is like everybody's like, oh, well, you already have Khalil Shakir in the slot. You know, teams have run 2 slots, right?
Yep.
Like teams have run 2 little dudes in the middle. And it's really, first off, it's an incredibly like
Bunch
scheme
formations.
wise. Oh, dude, scheme wise, that's probably one of the hardest things for defenses to figure out, because you have 2 little dudes and you have 2 vertical wide receivers who are going to push the secondary back and create any type of space that there wasn't into the middle, right? Creating all types of leverage. That right there, with 2 dudes like that who have sure hands, who are super twitchy, really good route runners, is going to be a momentum swing. Because for Josh, and that's the biggest thing. And like, that's why when he started out and he had Kelvin Benjamin and Rod Streeter and all those dirty dogs who couldn't do anything. Then they went and they got John Brown and they got Cole Beasley, guys that were availability personified, guys that knew that one, they could catch, but that were able to understand good route running. They knew where to be for Josh, and they were like a quality receiver for him. Like he felt comfortable. He trusted them. And that's been, I think, a forward progression. It has been easy because obviously we thought Gabe Davis was that failed miserably. You thought Steph Diggs was that, but that whole thing was just a tire fire. Now you're seeing Shakir as that. You hope Dalton Kincaid can get back to that. You're assuming that Josh Palmer will be that. You add one more of those guys. Now you take so much stress off of Josh. And what we saw this past year, which I think is a predicate of what they're trying to do, is Josh was last year, 4.1% was the total number of sacks, interceptions, and turnover-worthy plays. It was the lowest in NFL history ever. That's how good Josh was. That was how effective he was this past year. And that was because they found guys that he trusted, right? They found guys that could catch the ball, that he trusted implicitly, and that allowed him to play a brand of football that was smart. It was effective, and it was, let's spread the ball out and create mismatches that way. And I think they want to keep doing that. And maybe that's small ball, right? With a little parsing of the deep shot down the field, which is I think why they brought in guy. Maybe they were trying to get to DK, right? But I think Josh Palmer can do that, and Keon can do that. But they want to play the small ball game because that's difficult to defend when you're throwing it all over the yard and playing a high percentage low ball right there. So I'm excited to see what they could do. Sorry, I'm so chatty tonight. I apologize. This is way more
You're good, dog. You're good.
Way more tonight than I'm usual. But I like I like the proposition of that, because you're talking about what Brady used to do when Brady was at his most effective.
Yeah.
When he had Welker, when he had Edelman, when he had Gronkowski, when he had Kevin Falk, when he had Troy Brown, when he had all these guys that he could just dink and dunk all around. And it was a pain in the ass to play with because they were always open.
Yep. And he never had that big X receiver. He didn't have that
until he had Randy Moss, but he never really had that because they were always staying above the sticks, right?
Yep.
And whether it was Ben Jarvis, Green Ellis, or whatever, LeGarrette Blount, they always had a good running back who could also contribute, which they have, and James Cook and Ty Johnson and Ray Davis. It's just you're constantly matriculating down the field in such a way that you're going to be successful, right? Because you want to make sure that, let's say, and there was a couple games this season where there was only 8 possessions. You want to convert on at least 50% of those, because on 50%, especially with Josh and James having together 30 plus rushing touchdowns, if you can convert 50%, you're talking about a very successful offense that is incredibly hard to defend against, because the Bills defense might not be perfect, but they're good enough where they're going to cause turnovers, which they did in bunches last year, but also give Josh Allen the ability to get the ball back on a shortened field. So you're giving the Bills so many opportunities to score, but you're also making it easier for the Bills to score because their offense is efficient. So it's a hand-in-hand, very, very synonymous approach where you're going to find not only efficiency, but effectiveness. And I think that's what they're trying to do, is make an offense that's super effective, high powered, but also something that Josh doesn't have to rack his mind. Because here's the thing. When Josh was at his worst is because he was overthinking the shit out of an offense. He was way, way, way in the side of his head, and he was trying to do too much. He was trying to force things that didn't need to be there. He was throwing balls that were stupid, sugar high Josh bullshit. Now you have him playing smart, mature, effective football. And that's why Xavier Restrepo is so good.
Hey man, I love that dude, man. Restrepo can freaking ball. Toast to that, baby. Restrepo can ball. Okay, TD. I think we're coming to the end of the show here.
We got to do a mock draft, brah.
Do you want to do one real quick?
Yeah, I got one
Let's
up right here.
Hell yeah, let's go, baby.
What do you want to do? A full 7, or are we gonna do like a 5
we
round?
don't do nothing but full 7 around here, dog.
Okay.
Come on now. Don't be tripping.
I got you. Hold on. I'm gonna make it full page. I'm gonna bring this up. Give me 3, 2, 1. Where the hell are you? There you are. Okay.
Now, with this one, we got to make some trades, dog. We cannot.
Sure.
10 picks. Shit.
Okay.
Dang, that's too many. I think we need to come out of here with
doesn't
5
have
to 6
our
prospects.
actual correct picks though. So hold on one sec. I got to make a forced trade.
All right.
Who did we? Hold on. Who did we traded with? Dallas.
Mm-hmm.
So we need
Got a
their
5th
170. We gave them a 6, which I think was, what did we give them? Hold on. Ian, can you find out? Levi, I agree. I want to double dip somewhere as well.
Yeah, we're going
Absolutely.
we're going double dip for sure.
We got a 7th next year.
So while you're doing that, TD, so
I think it's 178.
Okay, so those of you in the chat,
it's 207. We're good. Okay.
Help us do this mock draft. If there are people or if there are guys in this draft that you're thinking about as TD sets this up for us, throw them in the chat. Like, we want all the ideas we can get. I mean, this is as you guys know, the Bills, operate in the draft rooms, and there's like 20, 30 people in this draft room, and they all have different roles and responsibilities. Now, obviously, we know that Brandon Beane makes the final call, right? But their scouting department, a lot is put on their shoulders. So we need you out there in the chat, man. Let's be a scouting department with us. Throw us suggestions as we get this thing going. So you're going to see us do mock drafts from now until the draft. I'm sorry, but I think this stuff is fun. So I think we need to look at, in this exercise, we need to look at taking maybe 5 to 6 players. I mean, realistically, that's probably all they're going to be able to roster. So trade, we got to make trades. We got to make trades, dog.
Absolutely. Yeah. So let's go ahead and what we're going to do is we're going to stop around that point that you wanted to, right around 14 through 18.
All right.
And see where we're at, just to kind of get a feel. Cam Ward going number 1. I love Travis Hunter at number 2, man. God bless Cleveland. I hope for their fans. I don't like the organization, but I hope for their fans that they could turn this around, because they've made the playoffs 3 times in the past 25 years. That's brutal. Okay, so we are at Will Johnson went 13. Okay. So let's see. What so far we've had Cam Ward, Travis Hunter, Abdul Carter, Armand Membu, Mason Graham, Ashton Genty, Will Campbell, Shamar Stewart, Ted McMillan, Jahad Campbell, Mikael Williams, Tyler Warren, Will Johnson, Jalen Walker, I love Jade Barron, and Josh Simmons. Mm-hmm. So I doubt the Bengals would trade with us, but there is an option to trade in there. There's a lot of guys still available, but the problem is you don't have Will Johnson. So at this point, who are we trading up for is the question. Right. So like, that's the tough part is I feel like if you're going to trade up, it's got to be for a specific player. Like I feel like Will Johnson would be that guy. Right.
Yeah. Will Johnson for, I guess for the sake of, the Dolphins took him. Okay.
Yep.
So we're at 17. I think we look at Kenneth Grant. Let's go ahead and secure
trade up to 17.
Yeah, let's do that. And we'll see.
So I got to look at right now. Hold on one sec. It's on a different page real quick. NFL draft value chart. I apologize, guys. While we're doing this, I appreciate once again all of you guys tuning into the podcast, the Charge Buffalo podcast with Sterls and I. It means the world to us. If you guys haven't already, make sure you give us a thumbs up, rate, review, and share this with people, man. Let us know that, or let other people know about our podcast. It means the world to us that if you like our content, we're growing. We're trying to learn how to better serve you guys and give you guys more of what you want. But if you like what we do, let other people know. It means a lot to us. It really does. And we work really hard at this to give you guys the best that we can and really deliver on everything that we promise. So thank you for that. Moving from 17, so moving from where we are at 30 to 17 would be 330 points. So we could trade we could trade 56 and our pick to move to 17, and that should be enough.
Okay.
So if we go from 17, we give them 30 and 56, they would likely be accepted. So here's the thing, though. Maybe we could see if we can get them to give us a later round pick, right? So maybe 118, which is a 4th round pick. It's like halfway down the 4th round. Let's see if they do that. Get a late round pick because they're getting a pretty good Minnesota 2nd round pick. So we're going to go ahead and offer that trade. And they got it right there. So we have Malachi Starks, James Pierce, Mike Green, Luther Burden III, Donovan Ezeriku, and Kenneth Grant. You obviously talked about Emeka Buka.
Yeah, he's a good receiver too, but
he's a great receiver. Is Kenneth Grant the guy you want to go with here?
Man, I think, man, just think about this. Let's dream for a second.
Mm-hmm.
Joey Bosa, Kenneth Grant, Ed Oliver, Greg Rousseau. That's your starting defensive line right there. Tell me, bro. That is nasty. One, I think
I'm going to use that phrase I hate. What's the phrase? Makes money for me. I don't even know the phrase. I hate it that much. I don't remember what the hell the phrase is.
Grant got you stumped, huh?
Yeah, something about that, man. Ooh.
But think about that though. Putting a guy like Kenneth Grant in his defense, it unlocks full Ed Oliver's potential, right? Because Kenneth Grant, not only is he's a really, really good run defender, even at his size, he gives you pass rush ability as well. So you got 4 guys now on any down, right, that can just go get the quarterback. You got 2 edge defenders that are probably top 10 in the league in terms of setting the edge. Then you got Ed Oliver, who needs somebody next to him to take up blocks and stuff like that.
You have a 2-gap player right there. A 2-gap player, which is what we've needed for a long time.
Let's be honest. Trading up to get Kenneth Grant probably makes the most sense of anybody we talked about tonight.
Yeah, and it's the impact. The impact is there. Like, I know people think that maybe like the high point potential of this defensive tackle class maybe not as great as other years, but I think Kenneth Grant has so much potential. Watching him, his drive. One of my favorite plays this season was he literally chased down a running back from behind. Like, he's got speed. He's got so much strength. He's got size to boot. Like, he's got all the things that the Bills need. And on top of that, he's a real smart dude. Like, he's not a dumb football player. Like, he's actually a smart guy. So I think that's a great move. That's what we're going to do. Obviously, we traded 56 and 30. Got pick 118 back. So we still got some work.
We just pause the moment and just Kenneth Grant, dude. Fuck, that'd be fucking great. That would be pause. Yeah, it sounds zesty, but damn, I love Kenneth Grant. I love that dude, man. Love that guy. Woo.
And I told you I wanted a big fat fuck. So there we go. We got our guy.
Can we make a shirt that says a big fat fuck?
Yeah. We want a big fat fuck. That's what we want.
Go Bills.
Go Bills. Yeah. And then put Kenneth Grant's face. No, I don't think.
I'm telling you,
I don't think maybe he would like it. I don't know. We can get him one. We can bring it to training camp.
Yeah, right. That'd be dope.
Okay, so we are here. We're going to be back picking at 62.
Yeah.
And we have a bunch of picks, man. Between 62, we got 108, 118, 131. We could very well get back in the 3rd round if we want to. So here we are. A lot of options here. Some cornerbacks. I know we love Benjamin Morrison. Josiah Stewart's your dude. Cam Scatabo, running back. Zarian Porter. Omar Norman Lott, very good interior. There's a bunch of different guys. Kyle Kennard is a dude as well.
Oh, yeah, I do like him.
Definitely an option. 6'5", 254. That's your defensive end right there. That's a big boy defensive end.
I think man, Darian Porter. Cornerback is still in need. We're probably gonna have to take 2, right?
Yeah.
We got Kenneth Grant. Now we need guys that can cover in the back end.
Certainly.
I think Darian Porter's a guy that you can lean on, you can rely on. He's apt to play in zone and man coverage, off man.
Absolutely.
I think he has really good hands, right? And he has the production to back it up. So
Yep.
I do think that, athleticism. I think he has really good athleticism. I don't think he's like a straight line just burner guy, but I
Right.
think you get faster in the secondary with him back there.
Absolutely. Yep, I think that's a great option. And here's the thing, and if we want to, we can also trade back into maybe the low 80s. There's Jalen Noel right here, Jalen Royals right there,
Mm-hmm.
Savion Williams, who's a really, really exciting wide receiver. Some good options. Tez Johnson, Trey Harris. So I think maybe we try to get into the third round here and try to pick up an extra player here.
Let's do it.
And then you're talking about a couple of guys. So let's go ahead. We're going to take Darian Porter, fill another position. I love where we're at right now. We got Kenneth Grant in the first round over at 17. Then Darian Porter filling that CB2 role, which I think is great. Jalen Noel just going off the clock. So let's go ahead and get to maybe 80.
All right.
And we're not going to trade with the Bengals again because that's not going to work. So let's go a couple more. And let's get to the Bucs. We've traded with the Bucs before in the past. So let's see what wide receivers are still available. Who went? We did lose Trey Harris right after us. We had Jalen Noel go, but there's still a couple guys. So if you want to trade in here, we can get a wide receiver. In terms of going from, let's say, 108 to 84, 84 is going to be 170 points. 108 is 78. So we need to get 30 points right there, which we could use one of our third round or one of our fifth rounders to get right back up in there. And probably one of our sixth rounders. So if we went ahead and did that, we take our fifth round, let's say 171, and then 170, let's see. Right?
Okay.
Let's not be accepted. Okay.
That's all right.
They don't want to trade apparently whatsoever. So, okay, let's keep it moving here. Let's go a few more down and we'll try again to Green Bay. I apologize, guys. We're working through this here.
I mean, it's an experiment, man. You gotta see. I mean, hell, you can't even imagine what the draft room is like. Them, you got a guy on the phone like all the time, like trying to make deals.
Yep. So if we do that, we could trade 108, 131, and 170 to get to 87. If you want to go ahead and get like a Trey Harris, because Jalen Royals did go. Trey Harris went. So Jalen Royals, Trey Harris, and Jalen Noel went. But there are a few other options as well. Or we could just wait it out about 20 picks and hope for the best. You tell me what you want to do in this scenario.
Swing that trade, baby.
Okay.
I mean, because this is what force it, then force it. Shit.
Okay,
we can't wait on their logic. I mean, just force it.
Okay. So we got Savion Williams here, Sebastian Castro, DJ Giddens, a couple different options. I like Savion. I like Tez Johnson. I think Tez is awesome. I think Tez would be great in this offense.
Okay.
I'm okay with either. I think Savion, size-wise, 6'5", 225. He is just a really impact player on the field. I feel like Savion is what Laviska Shenault should have been.
Yeah. I would agree with that. I would agree with that wholeheartedly. Absolutely. I like that pick actually. Let's do it.
Okay, let's go with it. So next pick will be 118. So let's see. Got a few more picks to go. Guys, I'll tell you, in terms of content, if you guys ever want to see us deliver on something specific, on Twitter, at Furrow Sterling, at the Thomas DeLoss, tweet at us, DM us, whatever it is specifically, but let us know if you're interested in specific stuff. We'd love to deliver on content. So obviously anything that we can do to, give you what you're looking for, let us know. We're constantly trying to kind of, retool things and come up with new ideas. So here we are. Will Howard, Gunnar Helm, Jamari Caldwell, I think is actually a really interesting start. Baron Sorrell is a nice one. There's a bunch of Ahmad Hussein. I think is a really nice one from Boise State. He had a really nice pro day and a really nice combine as well.
I'm gonna throw
So,
a need. I'm gonna throw a sneaky need at you.
sure.
Linebacker. I think
Okay.
this might be Matt Milano's last year as a Buffalo Bill if he doesn't
Okay.
produce, right? And I like the idea of Jack Kaiser or Barrett Carter.
Okay.
I think those are two guys. Barrett Carter, man, he's to me, that dude's a beast, bro.
Okay.
Barrett Carter's a
Plays
beast.
in the SEC too.
Yeah, you talk about athleticism, that guy's got it. Jack Kaiser's your more heady player,
Okay.
very instinctual player, good tackler. Very good
Nice. Which is that's Matt Milano.
Yep. But I think Matt Milano has more range and ability to in pass coverage than Jack Kaiser.
Sure.
But Jack Kaiser reminds me more of Dorian Williams, but
Okay.
a better processor, if that makes
Certainly.
sense.
Yeah. So you pick it, whatever one you like. I'm here with either one.
Let's go Barrett Carter.
Okay. I love it. So we got Barrett Carter there. So far, just so you could see, Kenneth Grant, Darian Porter, Savion Williams, and Barrett Carter. Love what we're doing so far. Filling big time needs. I think we're in a good spot. I do wonder defensive end. We got to maybe take a look at that at some point, but maybe they feel really comfortable with what they got with, Javon Solomon and Joey Bosa, Greg Rousseau, AJ Epinesa. Like, that's a good group. That's 4 good defensive ends. Maybe you pick up another one on the free agent market. There are a few names out there that you can go with. I think the Bills are in a really good spot. Corner, now you got 2. Obviously, with Jamarcus Ingram, maybe they bring in a veteran. Like I said, Stephon Gilmore was an option. Wide receiver is flush. And then linebacker, with Dorian Williams, you got there. Obviously, you've got a couple of guys Edifan Olafogio from last year. There's a bunch of guys there. So you're really filling out the roster nicely in terms of finding guys that not only could potentially initially start off as depth, but could be day one role players. I think really, really good options.
Man, I'm quarterback is not a bad thing here.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think I think the Bills are gonna have to get a place where they're gonna be cutting cost at certain certain positions. And I think, re-signing these veteran quarterbacks for $6 million, $8 million, $4 million, I think that's a lot of money. I think if you get a guy that you can grow that has potential, look at what the New England Patriots just did or are doing with their quarterback. So I like quarterback here. What are your thoughts? I mean, we can go running back. I mean, shit, we don't know. We can get a guy that can supplant.
Bashul Tutin is a really, really good running back, but I do
like
love
him a lot.
I do love Kyle McCord. You know that. I'm a Syracuse guy. Quinn Ewers is an interesting one. Tyler Show is also
Show
really
probably has the most potential in terms of athletic
and
like
profile.
he looks like a
matches just
right?
like Josh, 6'5", 225. Yeah.
Yep. And I mean, listen, I do like your Q's quarterback, okay? But I think Tyler Show has more upside.
Sure.
Do you lean in the upside here, or you want to go with a guy, with more production, but doesn't necessarily have all the traits you need? Because I think it's like when the Bills had Matt Barkley as their backup, you couldn't run the same offense. It was much different. I think Tyler Show, you can kind of do the same stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. I wonder if you can add in get an extra pick here and drop down. They don't want to give you shit. I mean, you could add in a late round, 7th round pick. So you get 245, 176, drop 5, or we just take the guy we want and call it a day. We would have 7 picks at the end of the day.
Let's run it.
Okay. So you want Tyler Show?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm here for it. We go ahead and get a running back and a few picks. We're up here. And if you wanted to, we get Bashul Tutin, which is a really nice one.
Let's do that.
Okay. You got your running back, and then you got one more to go at 178. If you want to trade back again, we can get another player or call it a day. And we are in a good spot to end the show at 9:15 at night. So we do need a safety. A couple options here.
Let's see what's available.
Yeah, let's take a look and see what safeties. We got Caleb Ransaw, Achille Arnold, Dean Clark, Elijah Clark, Katan Crawford.
I like Elijah Clark here.
Okay.
We can still get our Q's guy, you know.
Okay. 6'1", 187. A little smaller in terms of safety.
I'll be okay with that.
Um, yeah. Let's take a look, and also let's take a look at Caleb Ransaw from Tulane. 6'1", or yeah, 6'1", 196. Bigger, stronger nickel defender who brings reliable tackling and run support. Former two-star cornerback recruit from Harvest, Alabama. Definitely a guy, you know, strengths stem from his plus size, tackling power, and reliability. I'll tell you, that's a low percentage of missed tackles. That's something McDermott would love.
He would love that. And I'm good with the size too. 6 foot. I mean,
Yep,
you see, you know, safeties that are 5'9", 5'10". I mean, all the time. I think that's really good size for
certainly.
a safety.
Okay, let's do it. Caleb Ransaw from Tulane. I like it. So there we go, guys. That finishes off our draft. We did trade up with the Bengals. We got Kenneth Grant at 17, Darian Porter at 62, Savion Williams at 87, Barrett Carter 118, Tyler Show at 171, Bashul Tootin 175, and to round out our draft of 2025, Caleb Ransaw. So love what we did there. If you like it, I'm going to tweet this out in a little bit. Just to, feel free to let us know what you think. Also, make sure if you're watching this later and you're not catching the current show, make sure you let us know what you thought about the show in the comments. And also turn on those push notifications. We'll let you know when we go live. So next time you can be in the chat. Next time you can, collaborate with us and, let us know what you're thinking throughout the show. So appreciate that. Again, like, subscribe, rate, and review. It means the world to Searles, myself, and Ian backstage. Ian, thank you again. Awesome job back there. So, Searles.
Hey, man. Well, with that being said, you guys have a blessed night and go Bills. Let's go sign some more fucking players, y'all.
Go
Peace.
Bills.
Hot on the mic, bringing it straight from Western New York to the world. This is Charge with Thomas and Sterling. Bills Mafia, stand tall and proud. We got this.